Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is an historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant, and we are called to love. With open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. As we gather, we acknowledge that Arlington Street Church occupies the ancestral homeland of the Massachusetts people. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of all First Nations peoples.
Knowing
To those who celebrate, happy St. Patrick's Day. Welcome to our Zoomers and welcome to the congregation gathered here in person. My name is Fred Small and I am Arlington Street's Community Minister for Climate Justice. It is wonderful to be back with you here today. Thank you to Director of Music, Mark David Buckles, who has made me feel very warmly welcome this morning. Thanks to our professional musicians and to our volunteers, greeters and ushers, the tech team, the Arlington Street Church Choir, the worship team, and the live chat coffee hour team. Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth are away today, so the mice will play. But they'll be back next Sunday. The sanctuary is mask optional. Please find your comfort level. Masks are available from the ushers. For those of you who are new to Arlington Street, a very special welcome to you. For those of you here in person, there are welcome cards in the pew racks. Please hand yours to an usher or drop it in the basket at the great doors as you leave. For those of you in the Zoom room, please fill out a connection card. The link is in the chat. It includes the option to request the link to a recording of today's sermon. Since they can't greet you in person after the service, Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth would love to follow up with a virtual hello. So, whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time ever at Arlington Street Church, welcome home.
Good morning. I'm St. Patrick Cooleybeck, your worship coordinator this morning. I understand we have a coming-of-age group from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome. From All Souls, Tulsa. You guys picked a nutty weekend to be in town. Have fun. If you're here in person, there are printed copies of today's order of service available from the ushers back at the great doors. If you're zooming in, the order of service will appear in the chat, or you can download it on our homepage at ascboston.org. During this morning's worship, we'll be singing Everything Possible, Fred Small's classic lullaby of unconditional love and inclusion, a beautiful picture book of Fred's song with illustrations by Alison Brown. Y también en español, todo lo posible, will be available for sale after the service. It's a wonderful gift for the children and former children in your life, and Fred will be glad to inscribe your copy. If you're joining us remotely this morning, you can find Everything Possible at your local bookstore or online at nosycrow.us. As we begin our greetings, I invite the Zoomers and those in person with a device handy to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from. And now Keith is going to turn the camera on our in-person congregation as we wave at each other as well as at our friends in the Zoom room. And you all in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Good morning, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Patrick. Our opening hymn today is Peace Like a River. It can be found in your gray hymnals, number 100, or it can be found, the lyrics can be found in your order of service or in the Zoom chat. I'll be calling them out as we go as well. I invite us to rise in body, rise in spirit, and let's sing together. Not just I've got peace like a river, but I've got joy like a fountain, love like an ocean, and a whole lot of other things. Make space for a whole lot of emotions that are all okay to bring into this space together. like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. Tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. Strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. Peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Thanks.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow in the chat. Zoomers are invited to light silent candles at home. Those in the sanctuary are invited to light a silent candle at the table up front to the right of the Gleason podium. In addition to sharing our joys and sorrows this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious our beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Today with heavy hearts. we open our hearts to you.
A candle of concern from Joanna Lupkin. Well, we were a few minutes into Shabbat services at Temple Beth Zion in Brookline on Friday. We heard a series of crashes and saw something large and white fall past our open windows. Somehow a car had driven or fallen beside our synagogue and had gotten wedged sideways. Prayers for the well-being of everyone in the car, for those who are still feeling freaked out and unsettled, and gratitude for all worship leaders who hold calm space in emergencies. Our final candle is a mixed candle from Dylan Wooten for my friend Colby, who is currently struggling with questions of what he wants to do with his life. May the many roads in front of you take you to places of true belonging.
Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A candle of joy from Queen Cheryl. Today, St. Patrick's Day, marks my 13th year of sobriety. When alcohol and I parted ways, life was unmanageable. I was in an abusive relationship, my house was in foreclosure, and I was close to losing my job. One can only show up hungover and reeking of gin so many times before disciplinary action is taken. 2 weeks after quitting the bottle, I wrote the most important email of my life, telling Reverend Kim the truth of my situation and that I'd stop drinking. From that point forward, she took me under her wing and never let go. They say that the Lord works in mysterious ways, but who knew that God would send along a Buddhist lesbian to be my guardian angel? I'm overjoyed that my anniversary is on a Sunday and I get to be here with you, my peeps, to celebrate. Today is a day of celebration and gratitude. I am living proof that miracles happen and grace abounds. And a final candle of joy from the congregation for Barb Seidel and Dan Simpson. Hold hands, you lovebirds. Barb recently announced their engagement earlier this week, and we share your joy.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for for ourselves, for one another, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Everything Possible is a song I wrote in 1983. Tweaked the lyrics just a little bit in 2022. And certainly when I wrote it, I never imagined it would be a hymn sung in Unitarian Universalist congregations. I should say I became a Unitarian Universalist in large part because I was playing in coffee houses, which often were in UU churches. And, you know, after the sound check before the show, I started reading the pamphlets, and I thought, whoa. That's a church I could get behind. So here we are. Please rise in body or in spirit and join me in singing Everything Possible. I'll invite you to sing, especially on the chorus, but if you know the verses or the bridge, enjoy and join in those as well. We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Some children grow up strong and bold, while some are quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some take it slow, some go in their own way and time. Some women love women, some men love men, some leave every label behind. You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible you'll find. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by hates, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they will give the same back to you. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you can travel any country. You can travel any country where your heart you leave behind when you're done. Please be seated. Thank you, Mark David. Thank you, choir. Thank you, Joe. I don't know about you, but in my perfect world, when I am on vacation, I stay off electronics. But we all know it's an imperfect world. And just because we're on vacation, not everyone is going to cooperate by taking a vacation at the exact same time. So last summer, while I was on vacation in Maine, I got a text from a colleague admitting that he had failed to do something he had promised to do, which meant I'd have to do it, but I couldn't do it until the following week, which meant precious time was going to be lost that could jeopardize the success of our project. I was so angry. The only thing I could do was go for a run, thinking at least I could burn off energy without breaking anything or hurting anybody. So in a rage, I threw on my running gear and took off down the road. The whole way cursing this man in language from the scatological to the eschatological. Abusing him in terms so crude and anatomically unlikely that some people actually imagine that clergy are incapable of their utterance. And boy, are they wrong. Well, after a few minutes, my voice began to get hoarse, and my temper cooled just enough for me to notice where I was. I was on a dirt road in a pine forest, skirting Penobscot Bay on the coast of Maine. The sky was a pure and perfect blue. The surface of the ocean, that mysterious combination of gray and blue and green, beneath which seals and porpoises and cod and herring were swimming. The trees, the color of chlorophyll, doing its silent, life-saving work on behalf of all oxygen-breathing creatures like me. My 70-year-old body was healthy and strong, my feet and knees and calves and hamstrings all working together to propel me forward, and my balance was keeping me upright, and I was not falling or having a heart attack or a stroke. And I asked myself, what am I thinking? I am on vacation in paradise, and I am allowing a text message to rob me of my joy. And then I was free, saved by the present moment. I realized my colleague had actually given me a precious gift, because now I could stop worrying about whether or not he was going to do the thing that he promised. He wasn't. And since I couldn't do it myself until the following week, I had all weekend to relax and actually enjoy my vacation on the coast of Maine. So I stopped running, descended to the shoreline, removed my shoes and socks and shirt, and stretched out on a rock, blissful and carefree in the sunshine. The mind can make a heaven of hell, said the poet John Milton, and a hell of heaven. We are indeed going through hell, in case you haven't noticed, or at least we can see it from here. Last week, the Republican presidential nomination was clinched by an authoritarian cult leader and insurrectionist, pledged to remake the United States government in his image. Recent polling, granted 8 months before the election, shows him leading in the popular vote by as many as 6 percentage points. 4 years after George Floyd's murder, politicians are running for office on anti-woke platforms. Support for Black Lives Matter, according to polling, has dropped precipitously, with nearly half of white Americans calling the movement divisive and dangerous. Many states are rushing to restrict abortion access, LGBTQ rights, the books high schoolers can read, and I give a special shout out to our friends from Oklahoma who are here this morning. And I want to say the name next, Benedict. Scientists are increasingly alarmed by the freakishly accelerating warmth of the world's oceans, while unprecedented heat waves, wildfires, floods, and famines around the globe provide a terrifying preview of the climate-changed world our children will inherit. As the war in Ukraine drags on, Israel continues its relentless assault on Gaza. After the horrific October 7th attack by Hamas took more than 1,100 Jewish lives, Israeli retaliation has killed more than 31,000 Palestinians, an escalation of nearly 3,000%. Now, if you're still not quite certain that you can see hell from here, consider this. This year, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, this year's Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg Leadership Award is going to, among others, Elon Musk, Rupert Murdoch, and 2 convicted felons, junk bond king Michael Milliken and noted feminist Martha Stewart. The Ginsburg family has expressed its disgust. So many intelligent, rational people are using words like apocalyptic to describe our future. But in the original Greek, apocalypsis doesn't mean catastrophe. It means revelation. In the violence and uncertainty of these dangerous times and those to come, truths are being revealed that have long been hidden. To many of us, secrets uncovered, riddles unraveled. The earth has been speaking to us from the beginning, but most of us are only now beginning to listen and to relearn her language. So much is dying, and so much is being reborn, or born for the first time. You and I are poised on the precipice between the no longer and the not yet. Nearly 40 years ago, illustrator Mary Engelbreit published a print titled, "Don't Look Back." It pictures a child in a straw hat, suitcase firmly in hand, and a cloth bundle on a stick balanced on her shoulder. At a crossroads, a signpost proclaims in one direction, your life, and in the other, no longer an option. Having made her choice, which was really no choice at all, the child strides confidently, with a spring in her step, in the direction of her life. It serves no one to be racked with despair and guilt. We are most effective when we are calm and at ease, able to respond freshly and strategically to the challenges we face. In the difficult decades to come, we will need courage. We will need fortitude. We will need love. But we will also need equanimity. The literal meaning of equanimity is equal spirit. It does not mean passively accepting our circumstances as just or right or fair or even acceptable. It means accepting simply that they are. Only then can we make an accurate and discerning assessment of whether and how to transform or escape them, to fight, to fly, or perhaps even to engage with compassion and courage. Equanimity means being present to reality, even as we work to change it. When you argue with reality, you lose, says Byron Katie, but only 100% of the time. Nearly 2 centuries ago, in a moment of mystical transcendence, feminist Margaret Fuller exclaimed, "I accept the universe." By gad, she'd better, was Thomas Carlyle's riposte. Clever and condescending. Who knows whether Carlyle missed Fuller's point or got it but went for the cheap laugh anyway? Because knowing we must accept the universe and actually accepting it are two very different things. You know, St. Paul charged us to pray without ceasing, but actually I think most of us argue with the universe without ceasing. When I am most provoked to rail against reality, a simple meditation by Martha Beck has helped me. On my in-breath, I think, I allow everything in the universe to be as it is in this moment. And on my out-breath, I surrender all resistance to the universe being as it is in this moment. Let me be clear, I am not surrendering resistance to injustice and oppression. I am accepting the reality of the world as it is in this moment. Not the next, this moment. And after just 1 or 2 repetitions of that meditation, my heartbeat and my breathing slow down, my tension eases, and I can think more creatively and accurately. When Kyra Jewel Lingo was a nun in Thich Nhat Hanh's Order of Interbeing in Plum Village, France, she took the risk of challenging those in authority by naming painful truths as she saw them. Now, even in a comparatively enlightened Buddhist community, truth-telling can be dangerous. And Kyra Jules caused an uproar. Soon, the uproar around her was roaring inside her head as well. Rocked by the reaction of people she respected, she began to doubt herself. But one morning, in the midst of the maelstrom, walking through Plum Village, she happened upon the venerable Thich Nhat Hanh, who regarded her gently and spoke to her 3 words. "It's all bubbles." That's all he said. It's all bubbles. Those 3 words broke Kyra Jewel's fever. She realized that the uproar was temporary. Her upset was temporary. Everything is temporary. Bubbles. The Diamond Sutra, the Mahayana Buddhist scripture dating back at least to the 5th century, advises, so you should view this fleeting world. A star at dawn, a bubble in a stream, a flash of lightning in a summer cloud. a flickering lamp, a phantom, and a dream. It's all bubbles, Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us. Fragile, fleeting, and certain to break. Now, as a young black woman, Kyra Jewell tweaks her teacher's phrase just a little. "It's bubbles, y'all," she exclaims. Let the bubbles pop. Pop. The Sanskrit word, upeksha, is usually translated as equanimity, but Thich Nhat Hanh translated it as inclusiveness. The more we include in our awareness, the more perspective we have. And the more perspective, the more peace. A spoonful of salt dissolved in a small glass of water, Buddhism teaches, makes that water unbearably salty. But dissolved in a lake, the same spoonful of salt is unnoticeable. Our consciousness must become like that lake. In the Christian and Hebrew scriptures, "Be not afraid" is a constant refrain. The phrase and its variants are the most oft repeated in the Bible, appearing more than 400 times. Be not afraid. Now, like so much else in the Bible, I don't think these words are meant to be taken literally. How could we not be afraid? Fear is inevitable. Fear is human. Fear can save your life. But fear is just a feeling. Feelings arise, and then they pass away if we let them. We can feel our fear and then let it go, like a bubble in a stream. When FDR said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, it was a nice bit of rhetoric, but even in 1933, it was plainly wrong, and still more so today. We have many, many other things to fear. But while fear can be a wise teacher, it is a wretched spouse. We must learn from fear, but not lie down with it. We must also be present to the beauty, the grandeur, the miracle of life. And if this does not come naturally to us, our openness to this presence can be a conscious and deliberate choice, a choice for equanimity. In her book, We Were Made for These Times, Kyra Jewell Lingo offers 4 phrases to help us to choose equanimity. And I'll read them out for you, and after each phrase, I will invite the bell to invite us briefly into silent reflection. May I open to this moment, just as it is. May my heart be at ease with the conditions of my life. as much as I would like things to be different, things are the way they are in this moment. May I open to the flow of joys and sorrows with understanding and equanimity. On retreat last fall, I found myself lying prone against the earth. Gradually, I began to feel myself merging with the soil, returning to my source, human, humus, humility, composting, returning to oneness, coming home to wholeness, even in death. And it was okay. It was all okay. It was more than okay. Whether it's the human species, all life on earth, even earth itself, or just little old me, it's okay to die. And in that brief moment, pressed against the moist and fecund soil, I understood equanimity. And when I rise, let me rise like a bird, joyfully. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf, gracefully, without regret. That's a song adapted from the words of the poet Wendell Berry by musician Wendy Tuck. And it's easy to pick up as a call and response. I invite you to sing with me after each phrase. And when I rise, and when I rise, let me rise, like a bird, joyfully. And when I fall, let me fall, like a leaf, gracefully, without regret. Amen. In silence, we descend deeper than words, centering down to the ground of being. During the silence, I invite you to pray or to meditate, or to contemplate ultimate things.
The poem I Will Be Earth by Mae Swenson is to me about equanimity. How be steady, earth that is now a flood, she asks. You rock me and toss me, you are the sea. Composer Gwyneth Walker sets these words multiple times throughout the piece. You rock me and toss me, you are the sea. They are sung full of tumult, they are sung full of serenity, and they are sung full of hope. As Martha Beck said, I surrender all resistance to the universe being as it is in this moment. I will be boat, and you the rower. You rock me and toss me. You are the sea.
I will be yours.
Thank you to the choir. Thank you to Hyunju on piano. Thanks to Mark David Buckles for finding these gems week after week, month after month, year after year. It's magical, man. Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. This month's beneficiary is Standing Together, suggested by Pat Humphreys and Sandy O of Emma's Revolution. Standing Together is comprised of Jewish and Palestinian citizens of Israel who say our future here is shared, and in order to guarantee a life here for all of us, we must do it together. It's either both of us or neither of us. Let us support Standing Together's efforts for peace to the ends of a release of the October 7th hostages and a ceasefire agreement. I've been thinking a lot about community lately, or more specifically, different types of community. Wikipedia suggests there are three general categories of a community: the organizational community, centered around what we do; the location-based community, or where we are; and the identity-based community, essentially who we are. Arlington Street Church, as well as other religious and spiritual communities, are among those that fall into the identity-based category. But sometimes the lines between these categories get blurred. Where does my genealogical work fit in? My mother's family has a very uncommon last name, limited to an area in central Poland about half the size of Rhode Island. But with the help of others, I've been able to pull together a community of about 100 priesthops online, both in the US and Poland. Is this location-based or identity-based? And then I thought, what if you flipped it around? What if it's not an uncommon last name, but a rather common first name, say Patrick, but in unexpected places? So today I feel the need to discuss this, the plight of the non-Irish Patricks in our society. It's been a wild and crazy dream of mine to assemble a group of these non-Irish Patricks to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade in South Boston. This ad hoc community of sorts, me and I don't know, half a dozen guys from the North End named Patrick and a few others, we'd march down West Broadway with those big head cutouts you see at sporting events of other notable non-Irish Patricks. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak, NBA Hall of Famer Patrick Ewing, the actor Pat Morita, perhaps best known for his work in the Karate Kid movies. Imagine a relatively diverse-looking group of people marching down West Broadway carrying these big heads and a veritable United Nations worth of flags. And of course, we'd have buttons that we'd hand out that would say, "Kiss me, I'm Patrick." That's a community I dream of creating someday. But right now, please take a moment to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community and filling our virtual collection plate. You can give online by scanning the QR code in the order of service. Go to ascboston.org, text your GIF or Venmo at Arlington Street. If you're Zooming, you can mail a check to the church. If you're here in person, please use the envelopes in the pews, which can be handed to Reverend Fred or me, or preferably to any of our ushers after the service. Thank you for your generosity.
Don't be afraid of what you want. Still staring at the skyline from the riverfront. Buildings like mirrors reflect back on us. Don't be afraid of what you want. Don't be afraid to start a fight. You'll never see them swinging at you from behind. Here, let me see that. Come into the light. Don't be afraid to start a fight. And if you cross your fingers are. The beauty's in the contrast of your clashing parts. Stars shine the brightest when everything goes dark. Don't be afraid of what you are. And if you cross your fingers, ghosts will pass right through. From across the river, I will wait for you. So call it out, find the sound, the world is waiting, and I'll be here in the glare of sunlight fading out. If you try to hide it, it only weighs you down. Let the light surround it, exposing all you found.
Thank you to Mark David and the Reverend Joanna Lupkin. Now, without further ado, a word from Her Majesty, Queen Cheryl, Queen of the Universe.
Many words. Thank you, Patrick. By now, you've all probably received your Save the Date card to ASC's Spring Fundraising Gala, and we are shamelessly capitalizing on Reverend Kim's retirement. It's all about money, and heaven knows throwing her name around will help the cause. But this morning, I'm here to invite you to something different. We'll be announcing this on social media, but today, while Kim is off, I want to give you a personal invitation. On Sunday, May the 19th, right after the corporation meeting, we're hosting our own celebration of Reverend Kim's ministry, which isn't about money, it's about love and gratitude. We're serving lunch. There will be music, memories, and a presentation of some seriously lavish gifts. The 35th anniversary stone is jade. The first of Kim's gifts arrived from India this week and is sitting on my dining room table. A hand-carved, solid jade with gold inlay, female Buddha. Exquisite does not begin to describe. I want to keep it. Our next gift is for both Kim and Kem. For the entirety of their marriage, Kem has graciously shared her wife with us, and we want to thank her as well. Here at Arlington Street, we're all about Tiffany, but Tiffany isn't just for windows anymore. You've seen Kim walking around with all those bangles on her wrist. It's always covered with things. And as a going-away present, Kim and Kem are getting Tiffany. Matching sterling silver wrist cuffs from Tiffany's with a diamond on either side, inscribed with, "The service begins when the service ends. We love you." She's going to cry. Should these seem overly extravagant, I did the math. This expression of our gratitude breaks down to 47 cents a day of Reverend Kim's ministry. This will all be from the congregation. The last of these gifts come from each of you, each of us. Kim loves cards. I had to make sure she was available. This is not a surprise. And when I told her about our celebration, she said, she's so humble, and she meant this. Oh, you don't have to do anything. Just give me cards. I love cards. And I've started a new project. It's called Cards for Kim. And we're beginning the collection starting today. We want to shower this woman with cards. You can send a card to the ASC office. The address is available on our website. Just mark retirement on the outside of the envelope. If you want, you can send an email to ascboston.org with the subject line retirement. We'll be happy to print it, and while I don't have time to transpose the text, I will attach your email to a card so Reverend Kim can open it. Now, thus far, everything I've mentioned has been about love and gratitude, but there is a business aspect here. None of this is cheap, especially the Tiffany. And though not a fundraiser, we do need some funds to pay for it. To that end, I ask you to go to GoFundMe and search Reverend Kim Crawford Harvey Retires and make a grateful-hearted donation to cover the cost. Last, I want to let you know that Art is working hard and going to try to make this a hybrid event. Zoomers, you may not get to watch everyone eat, which is kind of boring anyway, but for the part where we share the memories and present gifts, we want to make sure that we're all together, deep breath, for the saddest celebration I've ever posted, and the party I wish we weren't having, and send that woman out of here with a big bang. Amen.
I cried. As always, there are weekly gatherings in our Arlington Street Zoom room for loving kindness meditation, poetry, yoga, and writing. Also, if you like to sing, the Arlington Street Choir welcomes you to come rehearse in person on Thursday evenings. No experience is necessary. Every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, every Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth hold a tea party on Zoom with a conversation prompt. This week's prompt is, what world events had the most impact on you when you were a child? More information on all these offerings and Zoom room links are at ascboston.org. To attend any Zoom gatherings, you don't have to be a member, you don't have to turn on your video or talk if you don't want to, and they're all free. All are always welcome. Following the service, everyone is welcome to join the virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, join the Arlington Street Zoom room and answer yes to the breakout room invitation that will appear on your screen. If you're here in person following the service, we'll gather in the Honeywell Chapel for a live chat coffee hour right through the leather door to the right of the pulpit. Shortly after, we'll all regather, Zoomers and in-person people, for the open forum hosted by Alan Kemp, Connie Scanlon, Sandy Dixon, and Tom Anderson, our interim minister search committee. They will be discussing the search process and welcome all questions, comments, and feelings. Thanks to all of you who joined in today's service and to all those who made it possible. Remember, we're all in this together. We love you all.
Thanks, Patrick. Choir can come on up. Our final hymn today is Comfort Me. It can be found in the Teal Hymnal number 1002, and the words can be found in your order of service and in the chat. It will be led by the Reverend Fred Small. Let's rise in body, rise in spirit.
comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Nice and soft, breathe with me. Breathe with me. Breathe with me. Breathe with me, oh my soul. Breathe with me. Breathe with me. Breathe with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Before our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out your hands and touch the sides of your square, palms out. And those of you in the sanctuary, please raise your hands, palms out if you can, and let's send loving kindness to the people to your left and to your right. Send loving kindness to the person on either side of you and to the people on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming right back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in namaste. I bow to the divine in you. A poem titled Blessing the Boats by the late African-American writer and educator, Lucille Clifton. May the tide that is entering even now the lip of our understanding carry you out. Beyond the face of fear, may you kiss the wind, then turn from it, certain that it will love your back. May you open your eyes to water. Open your eyes to water, water waving forever, and may you, in your innocence, sail through this to that. Let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.